Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of Dismal Disney. It looks like there is a new challenger. There's another activist investor group that is gobbling up Disney stock, and investors like it because their share price is going up. Basically, shareholders like it when they think an adult might come in and take charge of the Walt Disney Company.
Pretty much.
Because clearly current leadership doesn't know what it's doing. So we're going to talk about this interesting turn of events. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. Guys, you get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Thank you so much for the support on Shadowbinders Volume 3 hardcovers. Go out to shopclownfish.com. You have a week yet to secure a copy of Shadowbinders Volume 3 coming next summer. Just so you know, it's not going to be out until next summer.
And there are a few 1s and 2s left.
A few, yes.
Now, we probably will put this on Kickstarter because I know a lot of people that overseas could not get this because it didn't work on this shop clownfish.com.
Yeah, it didn't like international orders very much.
We'll probably be doing a Kickstarter at some point too. So
yes,
look for that later.
Yeah. So if you want a copy, we'll make sure somehow you get a copy. But thank you so much for the support.
Yes, thank you.
Let's talk about this. Yeah, activist investor Value Act Capital is building a stake in Disney.
Interesting. This is not Try and Fund Management. This is another group.
Yes.
And they're also pushing for a board seat. So they're like, they both could each get a board seat technically.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you go out to their website and it's not like other investment groups, because they're not going on and on about ESG and stuff. They're basically like, yeah, we always consider what's in the best interest of the company and our stakeholders. I mean, they do take into consideration. They said, we have a deep understanding of industry structure and business strategy and a consideration of social, ethical, and environmental issues. But mostly we're about making money.
Yep.
So this is, again, in addition to Nelson Peltz, who now has control of Ike Perlmutter's shares. And they're really cranking up the heat.
So we have two different groups going for board seats.
Yeah, and I think what needs to happen, because Disney does have a lot of value if the right people are in charge of the company, and clearly leadership has failed. And I think
better decisions are made.
Bad decisions have been made for the last couple of years, and I think that they're definitely, the vultures are hovering because, when you've destroyed Marvel, you've destroyed Star Wars.
Would you ever imagine 10 years ago?
No.
That Star Wars would be destroyed like it is. Would you ever, that Marvel would be destroyed like it is? Would you have ever imagined that?
Some people tried to warn me. They said, don't get too excited about Disney buying Marvel and Star Wars because it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
Well, they were right, I guess.
They're going to Disneyfy it.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, look what they did to Power Rangers. Now, I actually like some of the Disney Power Rangers shows, but I'm just saying, like, they have done this before where they bought a brand they fundamentally did not understand, and then they bled it dry and destroyed it. And in the case of Power Rangers, they sold it back to Haim Saban for dirt cheap.
I know, and then he made money on it.
And then he turned around and made a bunch of money, sold it to Hasbro.
Yeah, that was smart. Then Hasbro ruins it. But that's
then
okay.
Hasbro ruined it, yeah.
Hasbro pretty much ruins everything.
So activist investor Value Act Capital is building a stake in Disney. The firm's move comes as Try and Fund Management founder Nelson Peltz is eyeing his own push for a board seat. So they're getting it from all sides, guys.
Yeah, well, they could deflect one. Now they've got two.
Yeah, CNBC's Activist Spotlight reports that Value Act, which sounds like a company that's all about money, by the way, Value Act began buying Disney stock during the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA strikes. And
when the stock was low. Yes,
and the company is one of the biggest, owns one of the biggest portions. It values Disney's theme parks and consumer products division alone in the low 80s per share. The report adds Value Act has been in dialogue with Disney management and is still growing its position. Representatives for Value Act and Disney did not immediately return the wrap's request for comment. Disney shares climbed over 3% following the report. So they said the move comes as Try and Fund Management founder Nelson Peltz is making a renewed push for multiple seats on Disney's board after backing off of a proxy fight in February. So this is going to be a really interesting situation. They can make a movie about this. They'll probably make a movie about this, but this might be the only chance they have to fix Disney. Basically, get these investors to mobilize to oust current leadership. I think that's what it's going to take.
The only bad thing is too, though, is you have investors, and they're going to be like more just money-focused individuals. It might be Cheapek 2.0. And that's the bad side, because to be fair, they're coming in. We need to bleed it dry more. We need to make more money. So that means, well, we're going to have to do different things to get more money. And they might cut corners. They might do things in the cheap. They might want to fire more people. They might want to, raise more prices, make things more expensive. That's not necessarily a good thing. What they need someone who can both make financial decisions that are good, but also make creative decisions that are good as well.
Yeah. But I think it's smart business to put the right creatives in charge. I would say find the most, you need to find another John Lasseter, or just woo him back or something, but you need to find somebody like that to be in charge of these franchises that fundamentally understands the franchises, bring them in, let them do their thing.
Feige did okay until they ended the 10-year arc. And then after that, it just went to shit because they went more with activist. I'm going to be honest. You went more with activist changes than you did with ones that would make money.
Yeah.
And you just changed every character. It wasn't like you just changed one or two. No, you literally swapped out pretty much every character for some gender swap, race swap version of themselves. And what you could have done gradually, you could have made some changes gradually, but you didn't. And then people were like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah, every mistake that they made in the comics, and again, the comic books were run by activists because nobody was really paying attention. They actually had to oust Axel Alonso from Marvel and try to course correct, but they haven't done much course correction.
They got rid of Victoria Alonso, who they believe was a lot of the reason they were pushing for it in the films.
Yeah, they used the FX thing as a reason to get rid of her.
I think, no, from my understanding, that was not completely untrue. Because they didn't care before.
Yeah, it wasn't completely untrue, but I think they were also looking at the direction of the MCU and were like, okay, all right, guys, we can't do this anymore. She is responsible for pushing us in this quote unquote woke direction.
And Kevin Feige's not going to take the fall.
No.
But now he's going to have to because there's nobody else to blame.
There were rumors the other day. I did a video on it that people were like, could they get rid of Kevin Feige completely because they might just blame him.
He's not doing a Star Wars movie now. So.
Yeah. Or they're going to keep him on a tight leash or something.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is still there. I don't get it, but okay.
Well, so let's just assume these two groups do come in and force Disney to change. Ike Perlmutter has an axe to grind with Kevin Feige.
I get that, but Ike Perlmutter also made some decisions, I think, at Marvel that weren't the best either.
No, but he might do it just to be a dick and be like, look, your last couple movies, Kevin, they didn't perform. Let's get you the hell out of here.
Okay, see, where I'm coming from is I think some of these choices might be great to burn down what's there, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to save it or rebuild it or fix it.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They're good people to bring in to try to get more money, and Ike Perlmutter's going to burn Marvel down because he's mad. That's great. And then what? That's what I'm saying. And then what?
I think, you want my honest opinion? I think the only way Disney is going to save itself is for Disney to focus on being the best Disney it can be. And that probably means selling Lucasfilm, selling Marvel, and merging Pixar with their animation studio. And just focus.
But they're not going to do that because they have developed too many things based on Marvel and Star Wars. They're not going to get rid of it. They have taken it and they have made it woven in too far. It's like you can't. It's like when you prune a tree. You can cut off some of the parts, but when you can't go too deep or it's going to kill the tree. And I think that's where they're at. I don't think you can
tree's already dead. It needs to be dug up and...
It can be saved, but you have to be careful. It's going to take, horticultural, surgical precision. And grafting.
Oh, God. It's like removing a tumor.
Well,
the Mickey-shaped tumor.
You want to save the patient. Take out the tumor that's 3/4 of the patient.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And then you're just like a freaking head in a jar. I don't know.
Disney is not a head in a jar. Just telling you before someone makes the comment. That is not true. He's not frozen.
Yeah. So I just don't know because on every level it's like they're failing. Then their solution for everything is like more live action movies nobody wants. Oh, let's do Moana. It's not even 10 years old.
I'm like, why are you doubling down on stupidity? Like it doesn't make any sense. It's like it's not just them. Like the studios in general in Hollywood. It's like they're deliberately trying to lose money. I don't get it. Even the media is like, why are you trying to purposefully lose money?
Maybe it is like the producers. Maybe it is like they're like, hey, let's see how far into the ground we can run this company, and then my friends over at Apple buy it dirt cheap or something.
We don't have to pay residuals. Yay.
Yeah, we don't have to pay residuals because there's nothing to pay on. I don't know. And that's like they had somebody supposedly was going to investigate Warner Brothers writing off all these movies. So maybe it is a scheme. Who the hell knows? But whatever is going on at Disney. Disney is fundamentally broken. They're operating at like an eighth of their creative capacity. It doesn't help that a lot of their most talented people either got forced out or left on their own. And a lot of them working for competitors, but I mean, my personal opinion is the only way that Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars are going to be fine or at least have a future is to separate them, to detangle them.
When
They're
you've gotten to the level,
conjoined twins, you got to when
you've gotten to the level of South Park, mocking the shit out of you, and everybody's agreeing with South Park, you done fucked up. Okay?
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like, I think that they need to get rid of Bob Iger. I think they need to put a board in that actually has a freaking plan. There is no plan. I mean, Disney's plan is basically survive from one quarter to the next quarter.
I'm going to say with Disney, the thing you have to remember too, it's not like any other company just sells widgets. Disney's one that you are going to have people in charge who understand the creative end of it as well. You take the creative, it's already been running, at half capacity on the creative end anyway. But for it to go back to where it was or to move up towards that, you need to bring the creativity back as well. You can't just go in and make financial only choices.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is what they have invested in here at Value Act, and it's mostly tech companies, Industrial Armstrong, Rolls Royce, energy companies.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Financial consumer, VeriSign. Oh my God.
This is what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about this because you need to understand both. You have to straddle both. And there are some media, like Nintendo, but they're not owning it all. You need to be able to do both. And the problem with Disney is it needs to lean way more creatively than it already does. It needs to be more innovative than it is, and it has been. And I think when you have people coming in and they're only worried about money and revenge, then I think you're going to have problems because then I don't think it's going to go the way you think it's going to go. I really don't. But apparently investors think it is because the stock is going up. So if you're worried long term, wait till it gets a little higher to dump your stock and make some money. But I am concerned about how myopic they're going to be.
They're never going to have another Walt Disney at the Disney company because next Walt Disney is going to go out and do their own thing.
That's true. They're going to start their own company.
They're going to start their own company.
That's another problem. But they have all these creative people. A lot of people left because they were having their hands tied, and now they're out helping your competitors. So I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Let's put it that way.
It's really sad. I never thought we'd be looking at Disney and being like, this is the least creative company out there.
I know everybody's lapping it on animation and everything else. It's like Wish doesn't look like it's going to do too well.
Nope.
And even then, people are making fun of it because it looks unfinished.
Yeah.
They try to do something new. Now, Klaus did the whole, 3D digital looking like it's 2D, and they did it well. And then you see Wish, and you're like, is this finished? Is this like what you put out because it wasn't done yet?
And who was in charge of Klaus, the director of Tarzan? Was in charge of Klaus.
So they're all just going out and doing their own thing because,
Disney, there's no more creativity at Disney. The company's been overrun with suits and activists.
And people that can go start their own, and those, or they don't feel like they were rewarded for their creativity, they don't feel like they were appreciated for their creativity, they weren't allowed to be as creative as they wanted to be, they're just going to go out and do their own thing.
Yeah.
So...
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
We're gonna keep an eye on this situation. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.